I feel that the Great Divide Trail has a really unique set of conditions that requires a little bbit different gear than what you would use on the Pacific Crest Trail or the Appalachian Trail. And when I was researching to do this hike, I didn't really see a whole ton of information out there, telling me what works, what's best, so more information I think is better, and that's why we're doing this. So the Great Divide Trail is a 750-mile route, or 1,200 kilometers, traversing the divide of the Canadian Rockies. It starts at the US border, just above Montana, and it goes through some really spectacular national parks like Waterton Lakes, Banff National Park, Jasper National Park. It's a really, really incredible hike. What makes this hike different? Well, in general, it's just more rugged. It's a newer trail, a younger trail, so a lot of the times you're going to be bushwhacking. So that really, really fragile rain jacket you normally use isn't really gonna cut it. Second, this trail is just very, very remote. It is out in the middle of nowhere. And if something were to break, if something were to go wrong, you're just not gonna be able to find help. And third is the weather. A lot of this hike is above tree line. And when a big storm is rolling in, you gotta be prepared to weather that out and not have any other shelter to protect you. It may not just rain. You could get snowed on. I think it was August 18th. We had 2 days of just brutal heavy rain. We took an on-trail zero because it was so bad. And at higher elevations, it snowed. So the very next day, for first half of the day, we were just hiking through fog, whiteout conditions, and snow. So we're gonna talk about my top gear picks for the Great Divide Trail. My first top gear pick is going to be a robust rain jacket. A rain jacket that you can really trust when things are bad. This is not the trail to be taking the rain jacket that you've already used on 2 or 3 other thru hikes. This is the time to get a new one and to get one, again, that you can trust. There's bushwhacking along this trail in many different sections, so I would say a frog togs could work, but you really are gonna run the risk of tearing it, ripping it apart, and then be putting yourself in a very, very bad situation. So for this hike, I got the Patagonia Torrent Shell. I think it weighs something like 14 ounces. At 14 ounces, there's definitely lighter weight rain jackets kind of in this class, but this one's way cheaper. I think it retails for something like $200, and I got it on sale for 20 or 30% off. Whereas a lot of other rain jackets that you're gonna find in this same, the 3-layer, has all the features that this one has that are a little bit lighter, are gonna be $200, $300, or $400 more than this one. So the Patagonia Torrent Shell I really, really loved. It's got pit zips, which I think is an absolute essential. With the pit zips, you can vent off heat, even though you're hiking and you're creating heat. I don't care how breathable Gore-Tex says they are, it is never going to be as breathable as pit zips. Another great feature, it has pockets, really nice big pockets. This is really thick and kind of heavier, so I know that if I am just bushwhacking through heavy willows, I'm not gonna rip this or tear this. After 800 miles, it still looks the same as it did when I got it. So the Patagonia Torrent Shell is probably my #1 pick for this trail, or at least having a really robust rain jacket. My next pick is a bug head net. This weighs less than 1 ounce, and it's gonna protect you from mosquitoes. There's not much to it. So the Great Divide Trail, a lot of times when you're not above tree line, you're down in these valleys following these big rivers or walking through kind of swampy bogs. And the potential for mosquitoes is super, super, super high just every day. So save your sanity and buy a cheap little bug headnet. And it's so small, it's so lightweight, you're never gonna know you even are carrying it. Now my next pick, bear spray. This is Canada, this is the Canadian Rockies. These aren't some little black bears, some little brown bears. These are full-on grizzly bears. You need some bear spray. So me and Sprocket both carried bear spray. It's pretty heavy, I think, again, like 14 ounces, just under a pound. Just for the amount of peace of mind having this is going to give you, it is absolutely worth the wait. So I bought the bear spray once I got into Canada, because you can't cross an international border with it, even if it's in your car, if they happen to search your car. So just every store, every gas station, everywhere you go is gonna carry bear spray. I'd recommend buying it your first day and carrying it all the way until the end. Now, my next gear pick is also bear related while we're talking about it. It's an sack. It's for food storage. So throughout the day, I keep all my food in this sack, in my backpack, and then at night, I cinch it up, I tie it up, and then I tie it to a tree that's about 100 to 200 feet away from my camp. So this is an Ursack Major XL. I think it's a 15-liter food bag, and it's like made out of Kevlar, so a grizzly bear can't get its claws through it, it can't bite through it, and it weighs something like 7.6 ounces, so it's gonna be a little bit heavier than like a bear hanging kit that you would hang from a tree, but hanging just isn't really that much of a possibility out there. And although some campsites do have bear boxes, not even sort of all of them do. So we went with the Ursack and we were very, very happy we did. It's a very simple process to tie it up, and to do it every night, you're gonna get very quick at these knots. So a triple overhand knot to start, to tie it up and to secure it. That way a bear, if it's tugging on anything, the bag itself isn't gonna open up. And then I tied it to a tree with a figure 8 knot. Again, you're gonna get so fast at this, so good at this, but please practice it before you go. So an Ursack Major XL, highly, highly, highly recommend alongside with the bear spray. So my next top pick is something I didn't have. I didn't start with it and immediately wished I had it, immediately. And that is some kind of fleece sweater that I could hike in. So what I'm gonna recommend to you is something I'm wearing, and I have a second one here. This is an Alpha Direct fleece from Senchi. Sprocket used one of these for the entire Great Divide Trail and absolutely loved it, wore it every single day, wore it almost every single night as well, just as another like fuzzy layer. Just the mornings are cold, the evenings are cold, and I immediately wished I had something I could hike in that was a little bit warm, but very breathable, so I wasn't gonna overheat. So I think mine weighs something like 4 ounces. It's very lightweight, it packs up really, really tiny. You're hardly gonna notice you really have it, but you're gonna use it all the time. So a fleece sweater that you can hike in when it's cold, because a puffy jacket is just, it's too warm to hike in. You know, so this is gonna be really great at camp when you're hanging out and you're chilling out and you're nice and like static, but it's just not really good for hiking in my opinion. These are extremely breathable, they're extremely lightweight, and that's what makes them great. Whereas this is less breathable, it's way warmer, and that's what makes this great for a different thing. So I would go with a very lightweight fleece like the Senchi for hiking in, and then have a puffy jacket for at camp if you're that kind of person. Maybe my like biggest recommendation for this entire trail is to carry some kind of satellite messaging device in case something goes wrong. Again, the remoteness, the bad weather, the above tree line, the grizzly bears, the moose, the dangerous river crossings, like there's a lot that could go wrong out there. And having the peace of mind of carrying a messaging device that works with satellites, that works when you're in the middle of nowhere, is huge. you're just never gonna have self-service, even if you climb to the highest peak in the entire area. So if something does go wrong, you need to be able to find help. You know, so an SOS device of some sort, I highly recommend. The beauty of these things is you can also check the weather. So when you're in the middle of nowhere and you're going over a high alpine section tomorrow and you're wondering, should I do it? Should I push for it today when the weather is still good? Is the weather gonna be good tomorrow? Being able to check the weather is huge. Two extremely popular ones on the market today would be the Garmin InReach Mini. That's a very, very popular one where you can message home with it, you can message friends with it. So the other popular one is the Zoleo. Those are the two most popular like satellite messaging devices on the market today, and I would highly recommend them. So my last recommendation is pants. You should consider wearing pants for this hike. The vast majority of people that do this hike will carry rain pants. When you're going over that high alpine section in the rain pants, it's gonna be fantastic. When you're bushwhacking, the rain pants, you can just put them on to then blast through that bushwhacking section. At the very, very, very least, I would carry pants and used pants for section F and G. That is the final two, the northernmost sections of this trail, because that's where you're gonna find the most amount of bushwhacking. Every other section, you're gonna be fine. I was fine, gonna be okay. But F and G, when you get to the town of Jasper, you need to pick up some pants then if you don't already have some. So anyway, that is all my recommendations for the Great Divide Trail. Just carrying these types of things is gonna make your life so much better on this hike. I really, really, really believe that. If you like this video, if you found this video helpful, give me a little thumbs up. And if you wanna see more stuff like this, then subscribe to this channel.